Well, the UAE has one of the fastest growing workforces in the world, but studies show that the country is still lagging behind in terms of nurturing and harnessing raw talent. Louisa Snare has more.
A lack of talent, say recruitment executives, is one of the biggest challenges facing businesses in the UAE. This situation has created a bidding war, with many highly qualified professionals being able to name their price.
I think they are. I think employers are being dragged into auctions that they don't want to be dragged into, but they're having to because of the lack of talent. I think, yeah, the dollar and the rising rents, of course, have had an influence on that, and it makes it very hard for those people that are setting the benchmarks in terms of compensation, because it changes every day in terms of what's market rate for any particular job.
In general, the pay of professionals in the UAE has increased by 10.7% from 10.3% last year, according to a Gulf salary survey. The rising rate of inflation at 12%, according to Standard Chartered Bank, and the ailing dollar are both contributing to higher expectations.
I think there's numerous factors at play at the moment which have an impact or present an obstacle for people possibly relocating to the region. The inflationary pressures of the region being one of them. Cost of livings in the UAE and Qatar in particular are increasing at a dramatic rate. So that's a hurdle as well.
According to agencies, businesses relocating offices to Dubai from more established markets are not prepared for the lack of talent that they find.
Certainly the calibre that they're looking for, they're coming from probably a developed market. They're used to finding 5 or 6 people for any one job, and all of those people they should be able to hire. What they're finding now is that they might only get 1 or 2 people for the same position, and so therefore it becomes definitely a war for talent and an auction, and as a result salaries are considerably inflated.
With the emerging economies of countries such as India and China, and indeed other GCC countries, competition for qualified staff has never been so intense. But experts say a balance will need to be struck so as not to exasperate an already high rate of inflation. Louisa Snare, Inside Business.
Well, there we are. We have with us in the studio, who are watching that report as well, with Peggy Chamoun from Bayt.com and also Ben Wadilove of McDonald's and Company. Thanks a lot for joining us here on Inside Business today. I mean, you know, from Louisa's report there, saying that recruitment executives and indeed businesses, they're having a hard time filling positions with, you know, decent candidates. I mean, can I start with you, Peggy? I mean, do you agree with that?
There is a difference, actually, Greg, to look at the whole picture. At Bayt.com, our indications show that there is a request for top talent, and there is a presence and an influx of top talent. The challenge, however, is to maintain the quality and the quantity of the top talent. So the quality is there, the quantity is there at the moment. Dubai and the region are very, very attractive point of residence and global hubs, I would say. And as I said, the challenge is to really make sure we retain the top talent that we currently have on the market.
Ben, I mean, what's your feeling about it, and do you agree with that?
I would broadly agree with that. I mean, we at McDonald Company, we service the real estate industry, and the property market is experiencing a severe downturn really in the US and in the UK now, and we're finding that we have a great pool of talent coming from America and coming from the UK and coming from Europe. Also, as Peggy mentioned, from Australia and from South Africa, people do want to come over here and live here for lifestyle reasons. Financially, it's still very rewarding because of the sort of tax-free status here. So generally speaking, I would say that, you know, we have access to a good pool of good quality talents, and as you say, the trick is to persuade those companies to retain them for the future.
We also conduct on a regular basis a human resource research in collaboration with YouGov Siraj. And there's one very specific question, I wish I had the chart to show you, whereby we give job seekers or respondents the choice of like 5 answers as to what would actually induce you or push you to change jobs, whether it is doing your own business or moving from the region to another region, or from the region to another market, or simply moving from the same industry to another high highly paid job? And the answer is like 35% of people would say, no, we would rather stay where we are in the region and just move jobs. So the retention and the quality and quantity are moving around, maybe from one industry to another or from one market to another within the region. But definitely there's an influx of talent, and we can see this from the database that we get on Bayt.com, which has actually increased by 50% over last year across all sectors, all industries, and all career levels, from entry level to mid-level and to top executive level.
Would you say that's also because at the moment we keep hearing about this credit crunch that's going on in particularly the UK at the moment, and also to a certain extent these states as well, and in a sense people are forced to stay in this region, particularly at the moment, Ben?
No, I disagree. I mean, certainly in the real estate sector, this is a very attractive place for people to be, because the projects here are, unique, large scale in size, and people want to come here for career reasons primarily, perhaps lifestyle reasons as well, and as you mentioned, market conditions in other parts of the world. And we do find that people do move around here more, or try and move around here more than perhaps a developed market in the UK. But I think that's simply a reflection of the Dubai market and the companies, the property developers here that have grown, very, very quickly in just a few years, and that's why that's happened.
I mean, looking at the construction sectors, the real estate, banking and finance, I mean, the region, and specifically Dubai, has become a regional hub, if not a global one. And if you look at the multinationals, they are more and more being attracted by this part of the world to actually invest and focus on having their headquarters here. So as a region, it is becoming per se a very attractive region for one to come in and invest. And yes, definitely there is a negotiation as to what is the situation that you would like to have as a family, or even as a person coming to have a new experience. There is negotiation power, and this is why it is key to maintain the talent that we are attracting. Sourcing it is one thing, retaining it and attracting it is also another thing. And this is why training and development, ideal framework, team environment, location, bonuses are very important as well, over and above the higher salary that they get. Do you agree, Ben?
But are we seeing certain sectors that are seeing much more growth than others? I mean, we mentioned real estate, obviously, and the banking sector, but are there some that could be better at attracting more qualified people?
Sorry?
Are there some sectors that could, develop and get more qualified people in that we're lacking at the moment?
It's, as I said, it is developing across all sectors by all means. I mean, and this is the platform that we provide for whether job seekers or employers, and the statistics showing moving from absolutely all sectors and all career levels. Of course, there are three main industries which are leading. As I said, construction is one, banking and finance is another one, real estate is the third one. But within, as an overall picture, it's all going in the upper direction.
But overall, we're not finding it difficult to attract senior people over here.
Well, I was going to say,
back to the original question of, can we find enough senior people that are well qualified for a development director position, for example? And if we can perhaps persuade our clients that they will look at people with Western expertise, there are certainly people that are coming from those areas that we mentioned and are quite happy to come over and bring their families and relocate over here still. Great.
Well, that's all we've got time for, but thank you very much to Ben Wadilove there and to Peggy Chamoun for coming in today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's the very latest financial news here on Inside Business. You can watch the programme any time of the day or night from wherever you are by logging on to city7tv.com. For now, though, from all of us on the business desk, goodbye and have a good weekend.